All right. Good evening, everybody. Chris and Tiffany here with High Seas Cruising, and welcome to tonight's live video. We are here. We are ready to go. We have people already here, ready to chit chat about all things cruising and everything going on in the cruising world.
Yeah.
It's like paper on the floor.
Texas Cruiser's here. He says he won't be able to communicate, but he will be listening. He's picking his daughter up from the airport. That's fun.
Yeah.
Spending time with your daughter? Yeah.
I was thinking driving into Houston
No, that's not fun.
this time of day.
Yeah,
That's picking her up from Hobby. And so, yeah, Houston traffic.
Chica's here. Attila's here. Misty's here.
Welcome, welcome.
Andre's here. Chris is here. Ray's here. Good evening, you all, from Judy and Ray. Chris says, good evening, Chris and Tiffany.
Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome, welcome. It's been an interesting week in cruising. Of course, yesterday was April Fool's Day, which meant there was all kinds of crazy news stories being put out. April Fool's jokes. It happens every single year, but you know that somebody read it and somebody believes it's true. I think the best one I saw is Carnival and Royal Caribbean were merging, and they've got a brand new ship coming out called Carnival of the Seas. What do you think about that?
I think that's pretty funny.
Pretty funny?
Yeah.
A little flow rider on the back, a little whale tail, a little guy's burger.
Schooner bar.
Little schooner bar. Yeah, just going to kind of blend it and mix it all together.
There you go.
That was one of the ones I saw that I at least thought was, fairly entertaining at least.
Carolyn is here. She says, hello, all will be listening tonight due to driving and working. Well, welcome and be careful.
Yes.
Andre's here. I said that earlier. Do I have to pay port fees and etc. if my child is under 1?
Well, you're going to make me tax my brain tonight. I believe so. I believe in the purposes of other governments, because that's who port fees and taxes are paid to. I believe it's yes. I believe that's on a basic head count. But you know what? I am not 100% sure on that. But I believe so.
Nellie's here. Hi, all. A quiet Texas cruiser session. Laugh out loud. Drive safe.
He's still listening. He knows you're talking smack. Yeah, some big Texas news this week, and still trying to figure out exactly what and why and all that. But Princess Cruise Lines has pulled the Majestic Princess from Galveston, canceled all the cruises, gave refunds. According to Princess, it is to reposition, redeploy the Majestic Princess elsewhere. It's kind of sad though. She just came out of dry dock. So she's been refurbished. She's been refreshed. They've actually added 12 new venues or updated 12 venues on board the Majestic Princess. But she is not going to be going to Galveston. She is now going to be going elsewhere. Now, that will still leave us the Regal Princess for a little while. But even the Regal Princess eventually is going to go to Europe. And as of right now, we will have no Princess cruise ship for a little while, which is something we haven't had, don't know why. Don't know if we're going to be getting another ship. Not sure what the logic thought process is behind that. Usually a ship is redeployed. Usually it's a financial thing. If we put it over here, it's going to make more money. So it's going to Florida. They haven't said, but I'm willing to bet she's going somewhere where Princess feels she's going to make more money. So
it's kind of sad though.
Yeah, I was looking forward to actually trying the Majestic Princess, especially with her fresh out of dry dock. But
Misty said, have you heard anything about Royal and Carnival joining forces?
Just talking about that. Yeah, the new Carnival of the Sea.
Alien likes your shirt.
Thank you.
Carolyn, thank you. She gave us a super sticker.
Oh, really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Always appreciate it. Absolutely not necessary, but always appreciate it.
Yes. Nellie said, did you see Houston Chronicles said they are talking to another line for Galveston?
I did not see that. We'd have to ask Texas Cruiser if he saw that. I'm curious to know which one they would be talking to. We're already getting the
MSC.
MSC, but that's not what I was trying to. Norwegian Cruise Lines. I was trying to say NCL. We're getting NCL, and the NCL family is going to be coming in. We're getting MSC. We've got Royal. We've got Princess. We've got Carnival. We've got Disney. Are we thinking maybe Celebrity? Are we thinking maybe Holland America?
Well, that's what Chris says. I think Celebrity might be a good fit for Galveston. Nothing to back it up, just his opinion.
No, I completely agree. Carnival has hinted in the past we could see Celebrity now that Royal Caribbean has a dedicated port. So that is definitely on the distinct possibility, and that's been a rumor out of Carnival, Royal Caribbean in the past. So definitely a possibility, but I had not read that story yet.
Attila says, "Oh yeah, I even checked prices on the Majestic and thought we would do a 5-day on her. Well, nope, not now. I suppose maybe the next one if we get another one."
Well, Regal Princess will be back. She leaves. She's always been leaving. It's always been the plan. She goes. She does a cruise out of Galveston, stops in Fort Lauderdale, goes Fort Lauderdale over to Europe, does some European cruises, and comes back to Galveston. Excuse me. So that's always been expected by the Regal Princess. So unless they change that, Princess is always scheduled to come back. Just don't know why they took out the Majestic. There's still always the possibility we will get a different ship, and they simply haven't announced it yet. They said they haven't announced where Majestic is going, so that could mean that something else is going to be sliding over in our direction.
Carolyn said that's coffee money. I like it.
Tiffany likes coffee money.
JB Ranch is here. Which cruise line do y'all think will take their place?
At the moment, none. I think Princess isn't out. They're just redeploying their fleet, and I don't think we know everything that's going to come of that yet. I don't think anybody's going to take their place.
Yeah. Tara's here. She says, "Hello, everyone." Attila says, "Holland America, I hope."
That is a very distinct possibility. The way Carnival sets it up, they consider Carnival one cruise line, Princess one cruise line, and Holland America their own separate entity, according to Carnival, even though they're all under the corporate umbrella. So, yeah, that could be that's who they're in discussion with, Holland America, to say, hey, you guys want to come over here? And if there's a gap now where the Majestic Princess is going to be and Princess isn't going to fill it with something else, it is an opportunity for Holland America or somebody else to slide a cruise ship in and see how it does in Galveston. So
David's here, says, "Good evening, y'all." Nellie says, "Majestic Princess with her wording on the side in Chinese. She was made for Asia."
Yeah, which is kind of why I wanted to cruise on her. She was built specifically for the Asian market. And so, she's going to have a little things here or there that might be slightly different from her sisters. I would have liked to have seen that and experienced that just for whatever little kind of nuances she would have had different. But of course, like I said, she's just come out of dry dock and just been updated with a lot of things that are on other cruise ships. Hopefully she didn't lose too much of her uniqueness going through that process.
James is here. Good evening, Chris and Tiffany and all high seas cruisers. Nellie says, "Remember I told you the captain on Harmony said Celebrity in Galveston will happen soon. He just didn't know more details."
Yeah, so it's definitely been something in the works. I think something's coming. Don't know what it is. Everything is a pure guess and speculation at this particular point. But they've got to have something in mind. The 4th cruise terminal is, we're just 7 months away from its completion in November. They're already talking about the 5th cruise terminal and the possibility of putting in a 5th, which they would not do if they didn't think they could fill with ships. They wouldn't spend the money. So there's been probably some backroom talk, some discussion that, is just not in the public's eye yet, where somebody has expressed interest and said, hey, if you build this, we will come. It's like that baseball movie. Build it and they will come.
Yep.
It's kind of like that.
Field of Dreams.
Yeah, that one.
Port of Dreams.
Port of Dreams. There you go. Build it and they will float.
Bob said, and Texas Cruiser would say, Icon will be here soon. Yes, he would.
Poor Texas Cruiser. He's driving and
Can't reply.
can't reply. I got
Nellie said, haha, Rick said that for 7 years now, Bob.
poor Rick.
Sheikah's asking Nellie, are you getting nervous about the big day? Because you're what, 1 week?
You guys know, okay? I'm gonna tell you all this right now. Y'all gonna keep picking on Rick. Rick makes videos too. And one of these days, Icon is gonna pull into the port of Galveston, and there's just gonna be a video of Rick standing out by the pier, flipping y'all the finger. With a sign going, I know who you were.
Texas Cruiser said, traffic light, I hear everything.
Y'all remember, someday I predict that's the video we will see on this channel going, hey, Nellie, Chris, Tiffany, I got you right here, buddy, right there.
Yeah.
Well, Icon is in the background behind him pulling into Galveston. So,
Yeah. James, I agree with you, Chris. There is something in the works. I feel someone will test the Galveston market.
There's a plan. They just don't always tell us about it. I mean, you figure when they were building the 4th terminal and MSC was going to come in, it's not like they decided it that afternoon. Okay, we're going to build this terminal and MSC's coming. There were talks, discussions, plans made long before it was public. It's the same thing, I think. I think they're just keeping it secret.
Chris says Rick seems to have the inside news on that. Yes. Nellie said Saturday is coming soon. I am getting nervous.
Wedding time.
I know.
Okay. I wasn't sure if you remembered.
I remember. It is a nervous time. Don't run. Don't run.
They follow you everywhere after that, before that, during that.
You're so bad. Nellie said Rick is going to be crying. She's
so
laughing.
mean. But so we'll have to see what's going to go on with that particular event and see what's going on. Now, one thing that I've noticed a lot lately, and I don't know about y'all, but it really gets on my nerves. Being a content creator, creating content for YouTube, there are some folks out there that make life difficult for channels like us because they do like to do this wonderful thing where they lie, they exaggerate, they make information up, and it creates a distrust from people that put out regular information. I'm sure you guys have seen the stories. There's been a whole bunch of them lately. Carnival Cruise Line, going back to the old muster drill. That was one we talked about already because they have to do the in-person test every 6 months. But somehow someone thought that meant they were going back to it full time. One of the favorite ones, the Java Blue Cafe, is doing away with to-go cups. You're not allowed to take your coffee out of that.
That's funny.
Tiffany just laughed. You automatically know that's not true.
That's not true.
But there's people out there that believed it.
Yeah, no, that's not true.
When the egg prices went up, somebody created a comment in a statement that you could no longer get eggs on a Carnival cruise ship because there was an egg shortage. There wasn't an egg shortage on Carnival cruise, but people believed it. And my favorite one is the current growing trend where apparently content creators, and it's not all of them, and it's not the big names that we all know, but it's enough that it's getting annoying. They purposely find something negative to say about their cruises they go on. They look for every little thing so they can put out a headline: worst cruise ever, horrible cruise experience, worst rated cruise line of all time. On their videos, of course, it's for clicks, it's for views. The worse, the nastier the title, the more people watch it. I wish that wasn't true, but local news works the same way. The more sensational you make the story sound, the more people tune in and watch. But it does make life a little more difficult for those who have an honest approach to cruising. And Tiffany and I were talking about this earlier because for all the videos we make about cruising and stuff, very little of it. I mean, we have to struggle sometimes to find negative things. There are things that we don't like. There are things that are in our wheelhouse we don't prefer, but none of those things have ever made us say worst cruise ever, horrible cruise, never cruise on this cruise. Nothing has ever made us say that. Even if we look at the reviews ahead of time, MSC, if you look at MSC's reviews and just go by the reviews, you may say to yourself, I will never ever cruise on MSC. Read this. We have an MSC cruise booked. I am looking forward to going and experiencing MSC. Not going into it with a negative attitude, which means our videos that we produce from that ship, they're going to be positive videos. I mean, if something's wrong and bad and terrible, we'll say it, but boy, we're not looking for it.
No, we're not. And I don't know, negative people like that. Do we really want them on the cruise ships? Nellie says, I will be posting a pic of our crew on a cruise Facebook page about our wedding. That is awesome.
Absolutely. We're looking forward to seeing those.
Yes. Alien says, have there been any updates on the pier at Half Moon Cay yet?
It is currently under construction. That is the best update I have for it right now. So Half Moon is under construction. There have been some cruise ships here in the last couple of weeks and some upcoming cruises where Half Moon Cay is going to be taken off, switched for another port, things like that. That's all due to current ongoing construction. Don't know exactly, 100% when it is going to be done, but they are working on it. So it's coming soon. It's coming soon. They want it, and they're motivated to get it done. They want it done. They're motivated to get it done because they want to be able to take their XL class ships to Half Moon Cay, which is the whole point of the separation. Carnival's going to have the northern port of the island. Holland America is going to have the southern part of the island, which is the tendering port now. Carnival's going to get the new pier, the new dock, and they're going to be able to bring in all of their XL class ships. They're motivated to get that finished because, of course, the cruise line wants to take you to their private island. That's more money for them.
Yeah. Chris says, this may be controversial, but I think the poolside pizza on Princess is the best pizza at sea.
Ooh, that can be slightly controversial. I'm going to have to admit. If I was on Princess, though, the pizza you get down in the pizzeria, I know it's considered specialty unless you have one of the packages, but I would have to say, if we're talking purely Princess, the pizza out of the pizzeria, in my opinion, is better.
Yeah. Just talking Princess, though.
Yeah, we're just talking Princess. Tiffany's going to go off on her pizza with, a salad on it. Your salad pizza.
The Carnival pizza?
Yeah, the one with the green on top.
Yeah.
I know.
It's good.
Pizza Pirate's delicious. Sorrento's makes a pretty good pizza. Now, I have heard some people say that the best pizza at sea is actually on MSC. I don't know if that's true or not, but an Italian cruise ship making an Italian pizza, I can see how it could be true. But if your favorite pizza, of course, is poolside pizza on Princess Cruise Lines, nom nom, eat it up.
Yes. I will say that the worst pizza I've had is, unfortunately, Disney.
That's true. Disney's poolside snacks, some of their poolside snacks, particularly their pizza, bleh. Disney does not make a good poolside pizza. And if Tiffany tells you that, you know it's true.
James says, Nellie, nothing like,
Nothing but the best?
Nothing but the best for you and your bride. Congratulations. Enjoy every minute of it. Absolutely. Enjoy it. make memories, take lots and lots of pictures and videos, because you're going to be, it's nerve-wracking. And without the pictures, you forget little things.
I tried that one time. She walked in a room. I said, "Hey, who are you? What's your name?" That didn't go over well.
No.
Don't recommend that approach. She did not find it as funny as I did.
Bob said it's pure clickbait. Attila said it's worse on Instagram and Facebook. Some cruise haters are using AI video to make it look like cruise ships are dumping raw sewage and trash in the ocean or even in port. I've seen those videos.
I have two.
And it's awful.
Yeah, it's awful because it's just not true. And I get there's always going to be haters, and they're going to be on Instagram, Facebook, and AI stuff. They're bad, but it's the ones that actually book and go on cruises that do this kind of stuff. That's even worse. Because why did you pay to go on this vacation just to bash this vacation? Just to come on there and say, you know, they were talking about one today where it was like, you know, well, we walked in our cabin and there was two of us traveling together, and they weren't like a couple. Two of us traveling together. We walked in the cabin and there was only one bed. All they had to do was ask the crew members, since they didn't set it up right in the booking, to separate the beds. But they made it sound like there was a bed in the cabin, one just little twin. No, it was a king size bed, queen size bed, and you had to pull them apart. That's it. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, oh God, look at this cruise. It's so terrible. Talking about how the buffet was so bad and so crowded and it was so disorganized and all this kind of stuff. But it was embarkation day.
Well,
Which buffet is not garbage, is not just chaos on embarkation day.
And what buffet have you been to that's not busy when it's open?
True. But embarkation day, they're all busy no matter what cruise line. And that's the kind of stuff they used to say, this cruise line is subpar and substandard. Instead of the truth, which is like, hey, if you go to the buffet on embarkation day, you're going to see some people.
Yeah.
You're going to see some luggage. The lines are going to be a little bit longer, and you may have a harder time finding a seat. Perhaps look for an alternative restaurant to eat in.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the real truth.
Nellie says, yes, Bob, clickbait. And when you watched videos, they never addressed the title.
No.
I hate that too.
Yeah.
Ray says, we booked today on the cruise in 26. Looking forward to this one. Midship balcony and 2 decks down. Awesome. So we've got another one on the group cruise.
Yep. We're going to be on deck 2. We are going Cove balcony.
Yes.
I'm actually super excited about the Cove balcony. I like the fact that it's going to be so much closer to the water. You know, granted, if the waves get rough and the sea gets up a little bit and it gets a little stormy, they lock your cabin because, you know, obviously you don't want the ocean to come in your room with you. Makes sense. But I'm just thinking it's
the ocean could be your friend. Maybe he wants to come in the water.
I don't think you want him in your cabin. No. But just think, we would pull into port, stand on the, you know, and everything's right there.
Yeah.
And we will have the best seats for the pier runners, hands down.
Yes.
As long as our cabin, of course, is on the side.
On the side that the pier runners are on.
True. You know, dock the wrong way and we could be looking at water.
Attila says they know nothing about cruising at all, but makes people hate cruises worse. It does.
It does.
Really, really does. And
it is fair to say cruising is not for everybody.
No.
We all get that. Cruising is not perfect. We all get that too. It has its ups, its downs, things happen, mistakes. Not every meal you eat is picture perfect. Not every port you go to is the best adventure you've ever had in your life. But experienced cruisers also know that.
And it's also your attitude. If you go in with a positive attitude and know things are going to go wrong, nothing is perfect. What is that saying? No expectation, no disappointment. You know, if you go in with the right attitude, it's not going to be ruined.
No, I've never had my cruise ruined by the hiccups. And we've had hiccups.
We've had a lot of hiccups.
We've absolutely had hiccups, and it's never ruined our cruise. And I've never thought about making a video going, my God, it ruined our cruise. I stubbed my toe because the nightlight blinded me while I was going to the bathroom at 3 a.m. and the coat hangers were rattling because there was oh God.
Yeah. So it's just all about your attitude when you go into it.
Mhm.
Sheikah says, no, Tiffany, I don't like negative people on the cruise either. Sheikah says, agree with you, Attila. Chris says, I had Gigi's. I thought the poolside was better.
Well, I will say this much. That is the absolute best thing about cruising and the best thing about a cruising community, because we can all come in here and like something different than everybody else. We can share that we like something about different than everybody else. And that is okay. That is good news. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it
That's
is.
the best thing about cruising. If you like the pizza at poolside and there's pizza downstairs, well, you obviously eat the one you like. Nothing wrong with that. I love the diversity of cruising
Yes.
and the diversity of cruise passengers and what they can bring to a community. You know, and it's okay for everybody to have a different of opinion. The rest of the world can't seem to figure out what the cruising communities have figured out. It's like, great, we don't have to agree, but we can all still be friends.
Yeah. Maybe the cruiser should run the world.
Maybe cruisers should run the world. Hey, you want this? I want this. All right, we will somehow we'll try to meet in the middle and let's still be friends when it's all over.
Yeah.
Wow. Imagine if the world worked like cruising communities worked.
Yeah. Nellie says, I posted the Chronicle article on the Facebook page. And he also says, I mean, an Italian cruise line better have better pizza.
That's what somebody claims that the best pizza they've had at sea is on MSC. I am looking forward to putting that to the test this November because I do enjoy a good slice of pizza.
Yeah, you do.
And so I am more than willing to
partake
in the experiment repeatedly.
James says, I totally agree, Sheikah. They are on vacation. Alien says, we cruise in 25 days. I just checked our itinerary. Half Moon is still listed as one of our stops.
Yeah, so you'll probably still be in 25 days. My guess, and it's purely a guess, you'll still be tendering. I think they got probably a few more months of work before that's actually done, I think.
Integrated Travel Solutions is here. Welcome. We always like Sorrento's on Royal.
Sorrento's makes a good pizza too.
Sheikah says, I don't eat pizza that much, so I would not know. I have gotten to where I can't stomach pizza that much anymore, especially the red sauce. So if it comes with red sauce, I probably won't eat it. I think that's why I like the salad pizza. Right? There's no red sauce.
Y'all know the pizza I'm talking about. I'm sure you've seen it on Carnival. It comes out and it looks like it's got a head of lettuce on it.
It's got arugula and prosciutto, but there's no red sauce on it, so it's good.
No, because it's got a head of lettuce on it.
It does not have a head of lettuce on it. Chris says, I have sailed the MSC, RC, and Celebrity, and the specialty pizza GG still stand by poolside pizza.
That is a clear winner then.
Yes.
Clear winner.
Attila says, right, Tiffany, on my one and only Disney cruise, I was very unimpressed with all the casual pizza, burgers, snacks, etc. Plus, it was very crowded and slow. Yeah,
their burgers aren't that great. Their chicken fingers and all. Now, there's a spot right next to it that makes the gyros.
Mm-hmm.
The gyro spot right next to it, that was good. I like that one.
Mm-hmm.
The little sauces and everything like that. But yeah, their burgers, they taste like they are frozen Walmart purchase patties, and there's nothing to them. They taste, you know what they remind me of? Gas station hamburgers.
Yeah.
That's what Disney burgers remind me of. Yeah, they're just not that good. You'd think Disney would be so much better. Yeah, no. Disney is not anywhere near the top when it comes to poolside snacks.
Well, they do have some good French fries, and then you go get the ice cream, and yeah, they all look at you weird, but that was good.
I look at you weird, okay?
Sheikah says, Attila, you are going to be in travel with Tiffany. Attila the Fun says, oh, that Oh, that. Chris, I've seen those YouTubers. Yes, agree. Booking a cruise and then posting misinformation and negative stuff for wrong reasons. Yep.
Yeah.
And then Chris says, I go any place else but the buffet on embarkation day. We've started doing that.
Yeah, we try to find someplace other than the buffet simply because you know it's going to be crowded. They're going to be in there with their carry-ons and their suitcases waiting for the room to be ready. And so you know it's going to be crowded. It just makes sense to go somewhere else if you're let the brand new cruisers and those who just like the buffet go do that. Experienced people will wander off somewhere else.
Yes. Ray says cruising is perfect. And then Chris says a bad day on a cruise is better than a great day at work.
Absolutely. That's facts right there. Pure facts.
Ray agrees.
Yeah, absolutely. Any day at sea is better than a day on land.
Yep.
Definitely better than a day at work.
Chris says, absolutely. I love the diversity found on cruises.
Mm-hmm. And for the most part, cruisers, they just, it's amazing that if you listen to the local news and you look on the internet and there's just constant fighting, bickering, back and forth, which I'm sure a lot of that is done to get the clicks and the draw in the viewers. You make it sensational, you make it way worse than it is. But it puts, a negative mindset in your head. Then you go on a cruise ship and you're still going to have some of those weirdos on cruise ships. But for the most part, cruisers they're there to talk about cruising. Mm-hmm. They want to know, they want to talk about ports they've been to, adventures they've been on, foods they're going to eat, shows they've seen, a lot less about anything else. Why do you think the majority of people, and I say majority because there's been surveys, I've shown them, they don't want news stations, news channels. They don't want it up on the big. They don't want to see that garbage. Mm-hmm. They want to be on vacation and unplug. And you just don't seem to get that in a lot of other type groups.
Nellie says, I love Royal, but dislike Sorrento's. Attila says, and yes, with my Disney experience in the casual food section, it totally did not ruin the cruise. The Disney dining is great, and the show's super nice, and the ship lovely.
Oh yeah, now their main dining is superior.
Mm-hmm.
It is spectacular. Not necessarily the best out there, but combined with the shows, dinner and a show is pretty good.
Yes,
it's pretty good. The food is good. It's just their casual snacks.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of seems like, I don't know, I guess, since they cater to a lot of kids, it's definitely kid friendly. Chicken nuggets, burgers, fries, hot dogs. It's more like it's suited for the children than it is for the adults.
Yeah. Chris says Sorrento's is good pizza after a night at the schooner. Alien says, yes, Mrs. Alien likes the salad and raw ham pizza too.
The salad and raw ham pizza.
James says, I'm with you, Chris. Late night snack. Glistens is here. Hi, people and captains.
Welcome.
Attila, on Carnival, go to Cucina's or the Italian restaurant on embarkation day for lunch. No one there.
Oh, we like Cucina.
Yeah. Who Paul is here. Welcome. Hello, all from Mass. Carolyn, I don't like bragging or nagging.
Bragging or nagging. I like that.
Attila says, then go eat steakhouse that night for a free wine bottle.
Yep. You can go to the steakhouse and get free wine bottles. Now, we're not wine people.
No.
And you won't, there's plenty of times you won't catch us in specialty restaurants in the evening, mostly because if they have a requirement of pants.
Chris doesn't like to take pants.
Or wear pants. I'm pretty anti-pants. Except for the rare occasions when Tiffany forces me to wear pants.
Attila says, kissy face cup alert.
But we will hit specialty restaurants for lunch. We particularly like Royal Caribbean Steakhouse, chops during lunch. One, it's a little less expensive. Tiffany still gets a good steak thing going on in there, and I like the burger and chops. I think they have a delicious hamburger. And they don't mind me wearing nice shorts in there at lunchtime. They don't require pants.
Texas Cruiser says Solarium Bistro is great on Harmony on Embarkation.
Well, it sounds like Rick has just picked where we're eating for Embarkation Day on Harmony of the Seas.
Yes. Carolyn says, I don't like to hear bragging or nagging while cruising. Yeah. Well,
You're gonna hear some.
but just tune it out.
Yeah, that's what we do. Move away from it. But you know, there's certain areas if you sit in the ship where people are conversing, you're gonna unfortunately hear a little bit of that. It does happen. Because you're always going to have that group of experienced cruisers, and no matter what cruise line you're on, you know who it is. It's the Diamonds, it's the Platinums. You know, I've cruised X number of times. I know everything. I'll give you all the information. But here's what you're not going to like about it. You know, and then they're talking to inexperienced cruisers and people that don't know any better, and don't put the wrong thing in their mind right off the bat. Let them decide for themselves if they like it or don't like it. Don't put expectations on them.
Nellie says, on Royal, I will buy lunch at a specialty on Embarkation. That buffet is crowded, and I don't need everyone coming to me to try and sell me a dining reservation.
I have two thoughts on this dining reservation thing. One, I completely agree. You absolutely don't want to be bugged by the dining reservation people. They can get very annoying. However, little thing that Tiffany and I have discovered, Royal Caribbean in particular, is if you see the one or hear the one for a restaurant you want to eat in and you haven't made a reservation yet, you may want to at least stop and talk to them for a minute. Because a lot of times you'll be like, oh, well, I'm kind of interested. That's usually about the time they'll go, well, how about a buy one, get one for you to go eat in this restaurant? This is how Tiffany and I go eat in the Chops restaurant on Royal Caribbean for lunch to get steaks and burgers, because usually they'll give us lunch and a buy one, get one free to go in there at lunch because they just want to fill some seats. You can save some money doing it.
Yeah.
Now, that's just something that has worked for us. May not work for everybody. And if you don't want to talk to those people, don't talk to those people. You don't want to eat in a specialty restaurant that they're offering, don't deal with them. It's not for everybody. But if you got an extra minute, you want to save a couple bucks and you want to eat at a specialty restaurant, you can get hooked up. And they are more than willing, the majority of the time, to give you at least a buy one, get one. You know, or buy one, get half off one. They'll save you some money.
Yeah. Glisten says, I think the most classic Disney cruise is either Wish or the Disney Magic and Wonder models. I don't know which one's older.
The Wonder is the oldest. No, the Magic. Wonder. One of the two.
Yeah. I like them all.
You know, but of those two ships, you like the Magic better. That has your beignets on it.
Oh, yeah. Okay, there we go. David says, my wife keeps up with at least 25 people that we have met on our cruise. I heard I head to Blue Iguana once on board. We've never done that.
Never on Embarkation Day, but we've eaten some Blue Iguana.
Yes, I like Blue Iguana.
Especially if we go around to the side counter and you get the chicken tacos.
Mm-hmm.
I love the little tacos from Blue Iguana.
Bob says, gotta love the Kummel work at the Park Cafe on the Oasis class ships.
The what?
Kummel work?
Now,
I don't know what that is.
I don't know, but at the Park Cafe on Oasis class ships, it's where the roast beef and horseradish sandwiches are.
Which got you hooked on horseradish.
Which made me learn to like horseradish, because I had no idea I liked it until Royal Caribbean. I tried it on a Royal Caribbean ship. Because the young lady serving in there, she was like, horseradish? And I'm like, and she goes, I'm going to put some on there. Trust me, you want this. She was correct.
Carolyn said salad pizza in quotes. Haha. It is pizza.
Salad pizza.
She likes it too. Nellie says, yes, especially lunch is great. Dinner is too expensive.
Mm-hmm. You know I'm going to always call it salad pizza, but I always order it for you.
And Carolyn said, oops, Tiffany, because she spelled my name wrong, but that's okay.
I do that too sometimes.
Yeah, you do. The The burger at Chops is bigger than your head, and oh, so delicious.
That burger at Chops Grill. I'll pay just for that burger. That was one of the best burgers at sea I've had. Was actually at Chops Grill. I know Guy's Burgers and all those other ones are good, but
Attila said, "Oh, Chris, shorts. At first, I thought you were eating at the buffet in your undies, no pants." He would if he could.
there's no rules on that ship that says you can't eat in your underwear.
Well, it does say you can't come in your swimming.
That's not my swimwear. I don't swim in my underwear. Yes, I wear shorts.
Ray says,
Not brave enough to go across the cruise ship in just my underwear.
Ray says, "How can you not be happy with cruising?"
Facts.
Chris says the Royal Kummelwick is my go-to at Park Cafe for embarkation day on Royal Caribbean. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right.
Yeah, but what exactly is that? The Kummelwick is
that a food? A sandwich?
I'm assuming because it's at the Park Cafe.
It's got to be something.
Yeah.
Nellie says, to be fair, I have done jammies. Where did I go?
Right
Okay.
there.
To be fair, I've done Jamie's BOGO dinner offer, and dinner was way better than lunch. Jamie's
Italian.
I said jammies. I'm sorry. I need new glasses, guys. I do have an appointment, so I'll quit using that as an excuse.
Yeah, no, because at lunchtime, isn't it more, that's kind of like a quick service at lunch? You're not getting that full Italian menu. Remember, like Cucina does that.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't get that full Italian menu. So yeah, I can definitely say it's, or probably not saying because I haven't eaten there, completely agree that it would be better at dinner. And Italian restaurants are absolutely delicious because that's Jamie's Italian. Remember, we saw that one last time. But I actually have to go back a couple of those. So Ray said, "How can you not be happy when you're cruising?" Well, Ray, I actually have an answer to that question. There is a section of cruising when you cannot be happy. It's called disembarkation, when they throw you off the ship.
Yeah.
That is not happy cruising.
Yeah, that is not.
That's 5-year-old on the ground, kicking, screaming, hollering, throwing an utter tantrum because they're making you leave.
Yeah.
How rude of them.
Listen says, when I become 30, 40 years old, I will have a cruise ship that looks just like the Disney Adventure Cruise, and I will call it Fantasy is Glory, my first cruise and fleet. I love that.
I'm more concerned by the fact that when they become 30 and 40, that's me saying, back in the day when I was 30.
That was a long time ago.
How rude.
Carolyn agrees with you. Bob, that's it, Chris. Shika says, I love the breakfast burritos at the Blue Iguana. Me too.
We've had the breakfast
Yes,
burritos
they're
at Blue
good.
Iguana before.
Nellie says, the Kummelwork is the roast beef sandwich. So probably what you ate.
Yeah, okay. I did not know it was called anything other than the roast beef sandwich with horseradish sauce, which, seems like a whole lot of words to say, so that probably makes way more sense.
Yeah.
But yes, the roast beef sandwich from the Park Cafe is an absolute must-have if you enjoy a good little roast beef sandwich. And opinions matter. Taste is different between everybody. In my opinion, it's got to have the horseradish sauce. It makes that sandwich next level.
Attila says, small tip. Everyone knows the high rollers get casino comp in the specialty restaurants like steak dinners, but shoppers can too. Buying expensive jewelry or watches gets you a free steak dinner for 2. Did not know that.
That's because we don't buy anything expensive on board a cruise ship like jewelry.
No, I'm just not into all of that.
Yeah, lucky for me, Tiffany is not into all of that, so I can simply just buy her the specialty dinner, and she is into that. So, really, she has a choice. This necklace or this steak. She's going to go for the steak or the salad pizza.
Yeah.
One of those two. or
Ray,
the gelato. Offer her a gelato, she'll jump on that every time,
yep.
which makes my life very, very easy because she's so easy to please, and makes my wallet so happy because she could care less if there's diamonds in that store.
Ray says horseradish and a little Duke's mayo.
You know, Ray, Saturday show, there's something in Saturday show I specifically talk about, and it won't be there till Saturday, but we specifically talk about Duke's mayo in the upcoming show. You'll have to watch Saturday show to hear the discussion about Duke's mayo.
Attila says maybe no guarantee. James says, okay, this might be a question for Rick, but I'm coming in 3 days early for the cruise and like to go to NASA. Is there a tour from Galveston that I can take, or is it just better to rent a car a day?
I don't know about the tour. So Rick would have to want to tell you there's some kind of tour. You can also go over on Viator, and I can send you a link to that after this, James. And see if they have anything NASA related on there. They probably do, but I don't know. My question would be the transportation from Galveston up to where it is. It's not really, really far, but if it was me, and again, just my opinion, I would rent the car. And the only reason I say that is you can go when you want, stay as long as you want, come back when you want, stop and eat wherever you want, versus being on somebody else's schedule. Tours are great. They're nice. But what if you're only halfway through seeing what you want to see and they're ready to leave? Anything you could, and just again, in my opinion, that you can do on your own time and enjoy it the way you want to enjoy it. My recommendation. That'd just be my recommendation.
Chris says Royal Cumberwick roast beef sandwich. I get mine with gravy and horseradish.
I'm telling you,
I don't
you
like
have to.
roast beef.
You know, I don't eat a whole lot either, but those sandwiches are delicious.
I'll try it just to say I tried.
You can have a bite.
I want to go to work and tell people I had a Cumberwick. They're going to look at me like I'm nuts. Attila, I know. Attila says, but if you win big in the casino, you can buy that diamond ring and get a bonus Ruby C grilled dinner that night. Win, win, win. This is true. Ray says, for sure, you're right. The worst day of cruising is the last.
Yep.
Alien says, I may or may not be approaching somewhere around 40-ish some point. I'm not super looking forward to it.
I don't mind being 50, to be 100% honest with you. I really don't mind it. There's some days, some things ache, but I don't know. I truly think that a lot of ways I'm having more fun now than I had before.
Yeah, I am. I got to get out of my head sometimes when I start thinking about how old I am.
Well, when I start thinking about that, I just have to go to work. And at 50 years, 51, coming up on 52 years old, I can work circles around a 25-year-old. They should be quicker. They should be faster. They should be smarter. But good God, they cannot keep up.
Yeah.
So I say enjoy it.
Nellie says, Tiffany, Haley is like you. No on jewelry, yes on dining. I'm liking Haley and Haley more every day.
Yeah, she wants to eat. She likes Disney. Now you guys can have a meal and talk Disney for half the day.
Yeah. Wearing our Mickey ears.
Wearing your Mickey ears. And I promise that Martin and I will not go off and get in a lick of trouble anywhere. We promise.
Sheikah says, I will take a steak and a cruise to go with it. Ray says, Saturdays AM, I'll be there. Nellie says, don't tell me someone demanded Duke's mayo. We won't tell you that then.
Yeah, I'll give you a little hint. I'll just give you part of the comment. Apparently, the number one condiment that every Texan wants to dip their French fries in is a big tub of Duke's mayo. Okay. And the rest will be on Saturday. But yes, somebody demanded Duke's mayo.
Attila says, okay, well, Chris, I think you'll look good in a new fancy watch if Tiffany isn't into fancy jewelry, but you'll need to put on pants to get the dinners. So,
You lost me at fancy and pants.
Chris is telling James, NASA has a tour. Don't know if anything cruise line sponsored. Took my kids there several years ago. Yeah, it's been a while since we've been there. We took Dylan
when he was 8, and he's 21 now.
Yeah,
it's been a hot minute since we've been to NASA, but we're actually planning to go back this year.
Yeah. Nellie says, Attila, he will have a new watch, so really no pants should be okay.
The watch will distract them from the no pants. Actually, I've got like a 6-year-old Fitbit that it randomly just shuts off whenever it feels like it. I really need to replace it. I am so anti-fancy stuff that it's crazy.
Yeah.
The fanciest stuff I own is cameras, microphones, stuff for making videos, just shared cruise ships. My wife and my dog. That's it.
Chris Glisten says, on my last comment, I meant 30 to 40 years old. I still like that, though. She wants to have her own fleet, her own Disney. I love it. I love it. I love the enthusiasm. Chris says, I believe Texas Cruiser just celebrated a birthday yesterday. Well, happy belated birthday.
Probably should be paying attention to what's going on some of these channels and pages. I have not been looking recently.
James says, Chris, Moss, I will be there a few days before the cruise. Was thinking about renting a car and was there a tour from Galveston. Thank you. Alien says, experience over youth. Sheikah says, age, it's just a number. That's what I keep telling myself. It's just a number. Alien says, not always, of course. But sometimes. Duke's Mayo, what about Texas Pete? Texas Pete.
Hot sauce.
Oh. Well, I don't eat hot stuff, so.
We know.
Listen, so my first ever cruise will be Fantasy is Glory. I love it. Nellie, Alien, Texas Pete is from North Carolina, so no on that.
Oh God, the Duke's Mayo stuff is coming.
Oh, Chris at Alien, Duke's Mayo and Texas Pete sounds delicious for a dip. No. Glisten says, and my Fantasy is Glory cruise will be anything you've seen before. I bet not. Alien's laughing.
Yeah, they're all. Duke, there's going to be plenty of discussion about Dukes on Saturday, believe me. The insane things that people write comments in about. And that just happens to be one of the big ones. It's my comment of the week is all about mayonnaise. He's just all comfortable and sleeping, isn't he?
Yeah, I don't know how he's comfortable because he's in a ball. But he is. Cholula hot sauce is the best in Texas.
You know, asking Texans what kind of sauce they like is it's opening a can of worms.
Yeah, it is.
It's a complete can of worms, which is why I laugh so much when people say every single person likes this. Every single Texan likes this. And you know that's such BS because Texans don't even agree what Texans like.
I tell us this period. Come at me, bro. Nellie said, I saw the label one day. Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Ray says, hey, easy on Texas and Dukes.
Yeah, y'all are stabbing right at Ray State over there. Remember, he's from North Carolina. Y'all be like, North Carolina? It's like that old commercial. Remember the old Pace commercial? New York City, get a rope.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, you like hot sauce from North Carolina? String him up, string him up. Walk the plank.
Stuff we talk about.
Well, because it all starts with a comment where every single person wants this. Good God, no, they don't. No, they don't. And why say that they do when you know they don't? I don't get it. You know that's not true. I mean, I can't speak for everybody's household and everybody's family, but boy, you get just our family in one area, and nobody likes the same damn thing. Nobody. We got like 6 different flavors of barbecue sauce in the fridge because no 2 people want the same one.
James says, okay, I've learned something. Texas Pete is from North Carolina. Go figure. Nellie says, New York City. I remember when Pace was a big product. Attila the Fun. I used to live in South Carolina and had lots of friends in North Carolina. Love it up there. It's a great place. I like North Carolina too.
That's because you have grandbabies there.
I have peoples there.
They're called grandbabies.
I got more than grandbabies there.
3 grandbabies.
And 2 kids.
Of course.
The parents are important too.
Yes, I love my daughter and the whole family. I got a daughter and a son-in-law and 3 grandbabies. Of course. I was speaking for you, not for me. I was thinking of my daughter first.
No, you weren't. Carolyn said, I turned 68 on Sunday. You both are young. Well, happy early birthday, Carolyn.
Tiffany's older than I am.
I will never be as old as you.
Lots of things you won't be as me.
Chris says, everybody in here loves watching this channel. Now gives him a thumbs up.
We have the same group. Somebody must like something we say. You guys keep showing up every week.
Ray says, everybody wants Dukes and Texas on everything. Bob says, speaking of age, wait till you hit 70s.
I'll just be ornery slower.
Oh, good Lord. Alien says, North Carolina is okay until the light bulb sized cockroaches come out every late summer. We have those here.
We got some of them here, and I cannot speak for North Carolina. Them suckers here, they fly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they do.
I mean, they're one size away from a saddle.
She says, happy birthday, Carolyn.
Well, happy birthday, Carolyn.
Glisten says, oh yeah, my cruise will have better characters. One of them will be a brush with wings and a blueberry with a bow on top named Bluey. I love her way of thinking. Very
imaginative.
That's creative.
Creative. Imaginative.
Race is what everyone wants.
There's some people that crack me up. I often wonder how many of those comments are made up. Some of them are so outrageous that they have to be purposely written like that.
I've started wondering though, because what every cruiser wants and your comment show, wonder if people are actually just making this stuff up to see if they're going to make the cut.
I don't think we're that important. I honestly don't think there's a single solitary person out on this planet going, hey, I wonder if I write a comment, will Chris put it on the show? No. No. Okay. Look, when you're talking about celebrities and YouTube personalities, you have your A list, your B list, right? We're numerical. Okay. We've gone through the letters and we're down here in the numbers somewhere. I don't believe a single solitary person in the world is hoping to make our show.
Yeah. Attila said everything is bigger in Texas. Roaches, mosquitoes, biting flies. Yeah, all that good stuff. You're not kidding. The ants are even bigger.
Monsters.
Sheikah says, hate cockroaches. Yeah, I do too. I can't stand them. Oh, and then when I found out, even after you cut their head off, they can still live for weeks without their head. Ooh.
The show is now taking a gross nature turn.
Yes. Yes, it has. Alien says, I gotta run. Everyone wants to smash that like button. It is free to do so.
It is, I promise.
Nellie says, big roaches, water bugs.
Mhm. But all right, Alien, have a good night. Go enjoy your show. We will see you next week.
Yep. Chris Moss says, I was just thinking the same thing, Tiffany. Bob says, bye, Alien. Ray says they have to sit around all week and come up with this dumb stuff.
I don't know where they come up with some of this stuff. I really don't. And their complaints are just, I mean, it's okay to, have certain expectations, certain wants, desires, things that you might ask for when you're on a cruise. There's nothing wrong with that. But the way you ask, how you ask, and then assume that everybody on the planet wants it exactly is insane. It is insane. And so I got to wonder, are these really real people writing in real stuff, or do they go and act like that in their everyday life? I mean, entitlement's a thing. It's out there in all aspects of the world, but
yeah,
I have to wonder sometimes. I really, really do. Now, what I would say is, would people try to write in the craziest, weirdest, strangest, most entitled comment to see if John Heald would post it? I would say that is a much bigger possibility than they're concerned whether or not we're going to post it.
This is true. Ray said that end is too fast. Thanks.
What?
I don't know.
Oh.
Sheikah says, funny to see the personalities of YouTube. For some, their heads have expanded a little.
I'm sure. I've seen that and heard that happen in multiple genres, though. I was actually watching something from, it was uncruise related, but they were talking about that where their heads get big and they no longer think that some YouTubers, they get so to much a point where they don't try anymore. They just pretty much feel, I'll just put it out. People watch it. Who cares whether they like it or not? They quit trying. They quit caring about their core audience and why they actually originally began being content creators. And I'm sure, even within the cruise genre that happens, and that can happen. But I can honestly say YouTube it's a ton of fun and it's great and everything like that, but there is a little bit of work behind it.
Mm-hmm.
It does take a little bit of work and a little bit of your free time. And so even I've had that YouTube burnout a little bit here and there.
Yeah. Nellie said some of these complainers do it for something. I have a friend and she has complained on 3 cruises and has had sent free and Heald has sent free stuff to her room.
That could very well be it. It could be, some people looking to get something for free.
Which is unfortunate.
It is unfortunate. It really, really is unfortunate that they act like that. Because it's like everything else. They've been talking a lot lately, and it keeps coming up, and we don't actually have any comments on it, so we can just talk about it, that they're still having problems over at Carnival where, Diamond, Platinum, Faster to the Fun all have the option to go drop their carry-off bags in their rooms before the rooms are open. Now you have to drop the bag and you have to leave.
Mm-hmm.
They are still having problems with Diamond Platinum members telling room stewards, just come back later. I need to take a nap. I need to unpack. Which I don't get this. So the room is half cleaned. There's dirty stuff everywhere. They haven't even cleaned it. Why would you want to take a nap in a dirty room?
I do.
But what's going to happen? What's eventually going to happen is Carnival's going to take the option and the perk away, because it's going to get to the point where they're like, oh, you can't listen? None of y'all can do it anymore. People are going to lose perks and lose privileges over their actions and their attitudes.
Mhm. Margaret says, I appreciate your humbleness. I saw a cruise channel with fewer subscribers than you call themselves an expert because they had been on 4 cruises and they were serious, totally full of themselves.
Well,
We
we
are
really
not expert and
what
not
he
by
said.
a long shot.
No, we can share our actual experiences. I can share information I've read directly from cruise lines. I don't take it from BS sources. And good God, at the end of the day, we are not some important statute of cruising in any way, shape, or form. We are 2 people that like to talk about cruising, share cruising, and get other people interested in cruising. And that's it.
Yes.
That's
For the
it.
right reasons, too.
For the right reasons. Good God. We are not influencers. I hate that word. I hate that word. We're just content creators. And what creating content has actually brought us and the benefit that is actually served are the people you see in this chat every single Wednesday. It's the friends that we have made, and the ones we continue to meet on cruise ships.
Yes.
And get to meet people in person. And we are making lifelong friends doing this. That's actually been the best benefit. And like Tiffany said, we're not experts. I do not know everything, but chances are pretty good that one of our group and one of our community probably has the answer or at least have some experience with it. And if not, we'll look it up and find you the answer.
Exactly.
But yeah, we're not full of ourselves. We're not that important.
No. Attila said, it's really sad these people complain just to get free stuff from John Heald. It is.
Mm-hmm.
Chica says, I think YouTube, it takes a lot of work and a lot of time, especially if you still work. It does. It really does.
It's a 7-day-a-week thing if you're trying to put out consistent content. But that's not a complaint.
No.
Because I love putting out content and doing this and the interactions we have. So it doesn't feel as worky as it could. Worky, that's a real word,
Well,
right?
when you do something you love, you can't, it's not work. They tell you do something that you love so that it doesn't feel like work. So there you go.
I would love to quit my job and quit going to that. No. Okay. I thought I'd give it a shot.
Carolyn says, thank you. JB says, my wife and I started cruising 13 years ago. We have never had a bad experience. Not all things are perfect. That's why we will be back.
And that is an absolutely positive attitude. Not everything's perfect, but we're going to keep on enjoying.
Chris said, I had a YouTube smirk on a live when I said I was going on an MSC cruise. I love MSC. But we're not going to smirk because we're going on MSC.
Yeah, we want to try MSC too. Absolutely. I want to try every cruise line. And here's the truth. Let them all come on and say, oh, this is the worst thing ever. This is the worst cruise line ever. I want to go try it at that point. Not so I can agree with them, so I can come back and say how it really was.
Mm-hmm.
We want to go do Margaritaville at sea because I think it's going to be a blast. But I'm also smart. There's such a price difference between Margaritaville at sea and Celebrity, right? You're not getting a Celebrity cruise line experience. You're getting a Margaritaville at sea experience. I think we can go take that cruise and have a blast no matter how many bad reviews on it. MSC, a lot of people don't like it. I think we're going to have an utter blast on MSC. We're going to have a great time. And we're going to come back and we're going to have great things to say and share about it.
Carolyn says, yes, love your show. I set a reminder for y'all. That's so awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Margaret,
No, go ahead.
Margaret said, that's why I enjoy your channel. There are many out there who think they are the experts and are dismissive of others just because they have large audiences. I appreciate the sense of community here. That's why we do it.
That's exactly what we're trying to do too, is have the sense of community.
James says, I think what gets me is how mean the comments are to John Heald. Just plain ugly.
Oh yeah, they're rude to that man.
I think they think that the uglier they are, the bigger the price. If that makes sense.
Yeah. It's so unnecessary. But they're behind a screen. They're behind a keyboard.
And everybody's brave behind a screen.
And everybody's brave behind the screen and the keyboard. how many of those would be brave in a face-to-face situation to say that sort of stuff?
Nellie says, I get onto her, but she doesn't care. She has gotten champagne, cake, and a necklace from John Heald. I don't think I couldn't look at myself in the mirror. But that's me.
Everybody to their own, unfortunately.
I pop off at work and make a snide comment, and I keep myself up at night because of it. So I'm just not like that. Sheikah says, I agree, Tiffany. Do what you love, and it's not work. Nellie says, Haley and I have done MSC and didn't like it, but we are doing World America Yacht Club just because not all ships are the same.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Attila says, I want to go check out Margaritaville at Sea. Yes.
Yeah, I think, from some people that I know have been on it and, I actually listened to their opinions. They've had good things. They said they had a blast on that ship. They didn't come back with a bunch of negative stuff. They had fun, had a blast. It was great. And that's what I think the experience we're going to have on it.
Chris says, I agree with you guys. Everyone should form their own opinions. I don't listen to the negatives.
No, and like that, I'm never trying to put down to other creators. They're going to do what they're going to do, and they're going to say what they're going to say. But there's a reason why I never put out videos saying best cabin on the cruise ship. 10 things you must do on embarkation day. 10 things, don't ever do this in the buffet. Because that stuff is BS.
Yeah.
Okay? You like whatever cabin you want to like. You do what works for you on embarkation day. You handle the buffet the way you want to handle the buffet, right?
Yes.
There is no expert right or wrong way to take a cruise. There are rules you have to follow, right? Things that you must do. You must go to your muster station, must do your muster drill. You have to be to the ship on time or they would leave without you. But I hate those ones about this is the best cabin on the ship. Avoid this cabin. 10 things you must do on your next. No. No one person can say what's the 10 best things that every single other cruiser must do. I don't like those videos, which is why you'll never see us make those videos.
And I think even when I did my tips, my cruising tips, when we did packing videos, it's like, this is what worked for us.
Mm-hmm.
This,
But even a lot of our tips videos, which Tiffany's going to remake, hopefully, things like put your phone in airplane mode. You don't want to pay some extra fees and charges.
Yeah.
Don't be late to the ship. Things like that. Not must-dos, must-haves. We are the experts. Listen to me. Heck no. I've been to Grand Cayman twice and have screwed up that excursion twice trying to plan it on my own. So far, I'm an expert at not getting it right at Grand Cayman. And we will also share every mistake we ever make because we too are human beings.
Those videos. It's funny. We rode the bus around town for a while.
Yeah.
So, where we at? Sheikah, I love Carnival and a lot of people dislike it. I do cruise on other lines, but Carnival is still my favorite.
I think Carnival's problem, just my opinion, is Carnival puts a lot of their dirty laundry out there to the public. And unfortunately, you guys know how the squeaky wheel gets the grease, all that kind of thing. So a lot of the negative stuff gets pulled to the front at Carnival. John Heald does it, and he does it so he can talk about it, but you see a lot of negative stuff. There's a public forum for people to basically complain about Carnival Cruise Lines. So they get a lot more negative press than some of the other ones do because of the way they do their social media. So I think Carnival gets... And if you focus on that a lot, you can get a bad impression or a bad feeling for Carnival that isn't true. And Tiffany actually had to remind me of that because I've been reading, Carnival stuff, looking for show material, and, it was getting negative and negative and negative and negative. Even I started feeling a little bit, towards Carnival. And then Tiffany had to remind me, remember, you've been on Carnival. It's not like what you're reading. You know that. Oh, yeah, you're right. So I think that's where a lot of that comes from.
Yeah. Bob says, I would love to try other lines, but can't get my wife off of Royal.
Royals are good. Book one in secret and take her as a surprise.
Well, further down, Chris says, Bob, I have it easy. I just tell my wife to pack. She doesn't know where we are going half the time. But just, I don't either.
I have that same situation here.
I'm like, how many days do I have to pack for?
She just wants to know what days to take off and what kind of clothes to pack. Half time she has no idea what ship we're going on, where the ship is even going. I just tell her we're going on a trip. Okay. And she's good. Yeah, Tiffany's like that. She don't pay attention. She don't care. I do all the bookings. Her biggest thing is I'm taking her with me.
Yeah. Sheikah says she wants to try Margaritaville. Margaret at Sheikah, I'm that way with Royal and Celebrity. I have no issues with other lines. Just enjoy Royal and Celebrity the most. Attila said there's a whole lot of new cruisers out there. Lots of them don't know the basics or the rules. Maybe they ignore them. Who knows? But they may also complain. JB says, I've learned people who give advice on what not to do are more trustworthy than people who tell you what to do. Very true. I'm not ever going to tell anybody what to do.
Yeah.
I'm just going to tell you this didn't work for us.
Yeah. And that's the real honest truth. You know, a lot of it is, okay, this is what we saw. This is what we experienced. And this was our opinion on it. That's it. That's the best we can tell you is it's our opinion, our impression. And it's like, think about it this way. You go to the museum and you see a piece of art on the wall. And 4 people can stand there and stare at the piece of art, and it's going to make all 4 of them think differently, feel differently, and I have a different opinion. Cruising is no different. Y'all could do the exact same thing on a cruise ship. 1, 2, 3, 4 people, and all have a different thought, feeling, and experience from it.
Yeah.
You know, so how can you possibly tell people what they should do? You know, you must do this, you must do that. That's impossible to ever be right for the majority. You know, unless you're talking about something specific. If you were late back to the cruise ship while in port and you're not on a cruise ship excursion, the ship will leave without you. Fact. Right?
Very true. Very much fact.
Okay. If you buy a drink package if you buy the Cheers package on Carnival Cruise Lines, you get 15 alcoholic drinks per day. Non-alcoholic drinks do not count towards those 15. Fact. Okay. No opinion whether or not you should get the package. Just the facts of the package.
Yep.
But I think we have preached enough for one night. I think we're going to get ready to wrap it up.
Yes.
And call it another successful week, which it has been. It absolutely has been. And again, we are so glad everybody's here. We are so glad everybody comes and participates in the conversation. We have by far the absolute best cruising community that I have seen on YouTube.
Yes.
Okay. Others may have big ones. They may have large audiences. They've got their cruising communities. I think we have absolutely one of the best ones out there. And what was it earlier? If you don't agree, come at me, bro. Talk about hot sauce and mayonnaise. Come at me, bro. Our community is absolutely number one.
Have a great night. Okay, people, I got an early day tomorrow. We'll say goodnight, and everybody have a safe rest of the week. Have a great night and week all. Take care, fam. Nelly, good luck on Saturday.
Yes.
Congratulations. We are all thinking about you.
Absolutely.
Carolyn, it was Carolyn's birthday tomorrow. Happy birthday.
No, Sunday, I thought.
Sunday.
So we got a birthday coming up. We got a wedding coming up.
Yes. All right. Everybody's saying good night. What is Nelly doing Saturday? I got here late. He's getting married.
Getting married. Him and Haley are going to get married.
Yes.
On Saturday, and then they're going to be heading out on their honeymoon cruise. Yeah. So after they've had time to enjoy their honeymoon, I'm sure Nelly will be coming back to share some pictures of the experience over on Facebook.
Yes, I'm excited.
Yeah, so if you are new and want to join that particular group, we do have a Facebook page for those that are on Facebook. High Seas Cruising over there. You can hop over. You can join the group. I approve everybody until they give me a reason to disapprove.
Yes.
But we share pictures over there and all that kind of good stuff. So yeah, if you're on a cruise, going on a cruise, want to share pictures, want to share everything in the group, boom, we do it right over there. And everybody's usually happy to see that. Because, as a matter of fact, while I'm over there, Connie, who is not here with us tonight, because Connie is in Key West, Florida on her cruise today. She actually posted a picture over on Facebook.
Oh, Texas Cruiser's birthday is on Friday. So happy birthday, Texas Cruiser.
Happy birthday, Rick. But yeah, so Connie's in Key West today. So that's why she's not with us tonight. So we have people out. We have lots of birthdays. Come 2 birthdays, a wedding. I'm super excited. But yeah, all that stuff, of course, can be posted over on the Facebook page if you want to share with everybody in the group.
Yes.
So it's open for everybody. Yep, Celebrity Beyond and Freedom of the Seas.
In May is when he's doing his honeymoon.
Still, that's your favorite month of cruise. It's your birthday month.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you forgot it was your birthday month?
Yes. I have a lot going on in May. So, all righty.
All right. So, yep, again, good night, everybody. We really appreciate everybody being here. Love having all of the conversations. I always got to figure out where the ending is here. All right. But everybody have yourself a really good night. See everybody next week. And, of course, like always,
We'll see you on the high seas.
good night, everybody.